Nightly show. This is IELTS Expert, a section that I'm always particularly interested in because I myself researched the IELTS, so I'm very eager to welcome back our resident IELTS expert. Please welcome the illustrious Miss Mel Hammingson. Very nice to see you. You have a different floral shirt.
Thank you. I try, and I'm loving the tie.
Thank you very much. We're both making an effort. All right, so how are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you.
All right, so that was a really fascinating video. I mean, growing up, I've always heard of the tribe of Cham people. Are there a lot of Muslims in Britain?
Yes, there are. I think that's a big difference. We've got large faith communities in the UK, and Islam is the second largest group after Christians in the UK.
So Britain is still a traditionally Christian nation, right?
I think for many people, but what's lovely is that we have so much more understanding and assimilation of other cultures and religions. So for example, if you go to a supermarket now, you'll find frozen meat and you'll find frozen halal meat. That means meat that's appropriate for Muslims to eat. And that's mainstream. That's in every shop now. And I think that's the way that it should be.
Yeah, and I think unexpectedly, religion, I think it's a big part of cultures, especially when we learn languages, right? I think Vietnamese students don't pay too much attention to the religious aspect, but I think it's, you know, really deeply rooted in the English language. I mean, each language has a really, you know, religious provenance, so to speak. Anyway, speaking of languages, we're on an IELTS show. So let's take a look at this week's IELTS trivia. Okay, it's a reading question. Can I write TFNG for true, false, not given, or YNNG for yes, no, not given questions? I think the question is regarding whether you can write them interchangeably. Right? This is definitely murky waters because a lot of people are unsure of this, and I don't think this is something worth risking, but it is worth knowing. So what do you think, viewers? So surprisingly, the answer is yes. You could write them. You could mistake TFNG for YNNG as long as you answer them correctly, right? So what has your experience been regarding like putting correct answers onto the answer sheet? Do you have any advice?
I would say always write the full word.
Yeah.
Always. The reason for that is when you've got a capital T and a capital F, you've written it fast and you're under pressure, you can make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I've had students who correctly wrote T on their first paper, but when they were transferring it over, thought it was an F. Yeah. I would say, honestly, don't do it. Write the full word, true, false, not given. The other thing to be careful of is a lot of students, instead of true or false, they write yes or no. So just be really, really careful, read the question several times and be absolutely sure you know what they're asking you.
Yeah. And I think we should allow ourselves some time at the end of the test to just kind of confirm whether they align with what we have written down in the actual test booklet. Yeah. Because oftentimes I find, you know, you get the question correct, but because it's a negative statement, so when you transfer, you instinctively think, okay, this is false. Yes. You know, because you associate false with being negative, you know. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Just make sure that you allow yourself some time at the end to read the questions and the answers that you have chosen carefully.
Good. And connected to this, I always advise students, don't wait to the end of the reading test to put all your answers on the answer sheet.
That's interesting. Why is that?
You'll almost always run out of time, and that's where you make mistakes. So I'd suggest at the end of every section, put your answers on the answer sheet. Yeah. So finish the section, put your answers on. Finish the next section, put your answers on. Because putting all answers on together could take a few minutes, and you might not have that time at the end.